Good morning, good evening, and good night, everybody. Welcome to Stat Check. This is episode 102, 1 week out from WTC. I am Innes, and I am joined by Nathan and Anthony. We are all delighted to be here on this fine Tuesday evening. Apologies for the slight delay in us getting started. I hope nobody was kept too long by me shoving a pizza into my face as I got done with work. Hope everybody's well. We're here to talk about Warhammer stats, things that have happened. I was at a major this weekend. Stuff happened. So yeah, plenty of stuff to go through as we come up for what is this, like week 6 of Pariah Nexus?
Something like that.
I've still not lost to a secret mission, so I'm rolling with that as being like the only thing I've got going for me right now. Yeah, having a good time. How's everybody getting on? Nathan, how have you been?
Oh man, I got cloud struck last week is what really happened in my life. I got cloud struck so hard I got stuck in Seattle, which,
damn, dude.
over
a few states, that's rough.
There are worse places to be like stuck.
Yeah.
I got to stay with my brother-in-law, which was kind of nice. So I didn't get to get jammed into a like $400 a night Motel 6 kind of situation. The initial part of that, when I sat down to look at hotels so I could try to find a place to stay, not wanting to just drop out of reality on my brother-in-law, like, drop out of the sky on him. And I was like, oh, cool, $400 Motel 6. Don't think we're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
So I did that. The weekend before that, I was helping Judge Tacoma, which was actually a blast, aside from the part where I totally didn't realize how much setting up and breaking down of an event I was going to do as a judge, which was fine, but a surprise. Other than that, I've been shoving a bunch of practice time in with my War Masters list so that I have some kind of expertise of some kind in what I'm going to do. And so I can win my bet against Jeremy of placing higher than him at War Masters. And then I leave in 2 days for Scotland, which is going to be great. I've
Definitely
been knocking...
And the pre-WTC Scotland trip.
Yeah, I'm knocking on I'm going to knock on every piece of wood for like the next couple of days to try to like eliminate or expunge this travel curse.
I wish you luck with your land in the country get a dragon soup experience. It did not go well for me.
Yeah,
it may go better for you. You're older, stronger. You've been doing Muay Thai. You're tougher. You got this. I did not do well with it, but you are much more powerful.
I've gotten hurt twice doing Muay Thai already because I am old.
Yeah.
So repeatedly had to stop training from getting injured. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, other than that, playing 40K, doing all sorts of stuff, trying to get ready to go to Scotland, flying into Glasgow. Gonna go see like Glasgow. I don't know.
Just Glasgow is fine.
Yeah, I don't know how to say things, NS. All the letters in UK land are either silent or missing. And I don't know. Like,
we're in the wrong order.
Edinburgh is Edinburgh. I don't know, man. You guys got stuff. I'm not going to pronounce it Edinburgh to anybody except to you, NS. Just to you. I don't need to be yelled at and had like a beer bottle thrown at me like immediately upon landing in Scotland. That doesn't feel like that. Oh, Jesus.
Dude, the dragon soup, I'm telling you, getting handed the dragon soup to drink is worse than getting a beer bottle thrown at you. I would have gladly gotten scolded with a bottle than had to finish that dragon soup. Alas.
I'm excited to play Innis like in a game of 40K at some point this like over the weekend. That's what I'm really excited about.
Typus says, take Nathan to Spoons, please. We do have a plan for arranging a Saturday night in Edinburgh to make sure that Nathan gets to see some stuff. We've arranged a whole schedule around him. We will be at some point in the Wetherspoons in Edinburgh. It will be arranged.
The best part about this is I know nothing about it and have no idea what's about to happen.
I did the same thing.
You're going to get in Chris's car, and we're going to go places. And
excellent. I love everything about it. This is perfect. I'm getting absconded with, and I love it. I love every moment of it.
Yeah, we basically figured you didn't need like agency or decision-making process. So
I figured you guys knew what I needed to do when visiting Scotland, so it'll be great.
I gotta talk to Typhus about that when we go to Poland. Good mentor.
Peter, I'm gonna do just fine. I promise. I'll pronounce your name just great, as long as you don't make me change how I pronounce it from now, which is Hater.
It's not right.
Feeder, I think. No, it's not that at all.
It's neither.
That's how you would call. That's what you would call hitting a ball with your head in football, which is why I went with it. Not actually trying to pronounce it properly.
Or is it Haidar or is it Hader? I don't know.
Just ask him when you get there. Try to put a last name into it too. It really makes it easier.
I need somebody to do the same thing that Ayer does, where he points at his eye and points at his ear and pronounce my name. I'm like, excellent. I can connect these two words together, smash them, and pronounce your name correctly.
That's right.
I think that's probably enough vamping. Anthony, how have you been? You've been a few weeks since you've been on the show properly because we didn't let you be on the full episode. So, how you been?
I am as tired as I look, which, as I said to Nathan when I got on, I literally out loud went, "Oh, I look like shit." I'm just slowly going hollow to borrow a Dark Souls term. The prep for WTC is definitely doing a number on me, but we are almost done, so that's pretty sick. I've been doing a bunch of work stuff. I unfortunately learn fairly quick. So I have learned how to do things and be useful at my job. So now I have to do things and be useful, which is just the worst. So yeah, I'm looking forward to turning back into a person and going to WTC. That's going to be nice.
Get some Monday when you get back.
No. Like, what do you mean?
Like when you get back from Poland, you can turn into a human again, right?
No. I'm going to turn into a person for WTC. I've been just a practice shill TTS man who lives in this corner of my two desks that has both my computer and my work computer at it for weeks. I've just been a fucking chair gremlin. So getting to walk around will be good. I'm pretty sure I had double-digit step counts some of these days. It's not been healthy. So, yeah, I am. How often do I get WTC-related dreams? If I remembered my dreams, I would tell you. It's just not a thing that happens. I wake up in the morning, it's just like a clean slate. I'm like, all right, off to the next day.
Fresh boot every morning.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't describe it like that. It's just like a never shut down from the night before situation. So I could use a good reboot, actually. That's what the Monday night in Mecklen's usually for. Ennis gets me hammered, and then I stumble back in my hotel room and get my first real night's sleep in a year. So, yeah, things have been pretty good. Our prep is going really well. Our team is feeling very confident. That side of things is all very good. But I am definitely tired. 40K has been all right. Pariah Nexus is worse than Leviathan, which is an impressive feat. But aside from that, things are all right.
I will say it's incredible how much more balanced the game is, but the game is a lot less fun.
Yeah, the game is balanced in the way that rock, paper, scissors, or what's that new not UFC thing called? Power slap? That's it, is balanced. Where it's two dudes, they grab a thing between the two of them and they just slap each other until one of them goes unconscious. That's Pariah Nexus is balanced like that is. So yeah, I don't know. It's not great, but whatever. It's fine. It's the Warhammer. It could be worse. It could be 7th or early 8th. So
or most of 9th or
no, most of 9th was fine. Most of 9th was fine.
Harlequins, Anthony. That doesn't.
Crusher was better than Harlequins when they came out. I don't even know what the problem is.
I miss Thick City is what I miss.
What about?
Yeah,
I miss Thick City.
You just have to play the right armies.
Dom, you're right. We could be doing dumb things like that.
Yeah, we could be playing Magic. I don't have any Magic things. I played Arena for that 1 month, and that was enough of that. Yeah, I don't have anything else. I don't think I'm just a man trying to make it through the WTC prep cycle so that I can have my fun, nice vacation in Poland.
Very fair. Well,
how about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been to 4 GTs in the last 5 weekends or something stupid
that
like that.
Exhausting.
I'm playing so much Warhammer right now. Yeah, I played a GT last weekend. A major this weekend, a GT the weekend before that, practice weekend the weekend before that. Just constantly traveling for Warhammer. It's great, having a good time. I played a spite spin on Lenin's Dark Angels Gladius for this weekend.
Dude, that shit's pretty powerful.
Put up a clean 5-0 with it. Yeah, I took out the infiltrators and the voidsmen, put in 2 scout squads because I don't own voidsmen, and I was like, this will be close enough, and it was great. Very solid list.
Yep.
Reactor moving Deathwing Knights is a drug.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, as it's literally like you just took my list from last War Masters, and then we're like, we'll split the Death Knights into 2 units, and you don't get Desolation Marines anymore. Sorry, figure something else out. And went from there, and it's great fun. Azrael is a messed up data sheet. Shout out to that boy for clutching me game 5 by doing 10 wounds to a Valiant by himself in combat.
Dude, he's a bastard. He's a little bastard, man.
Well, no, he was just like locked in combat with it, with all his friends dead, and just went 5 wounds. That AP4, sorry.
Yeah, stab.
Exactly. Just stab this tank directly through the eye socket, killed the driver. Driver blew up, took the guy next to him with him, consolidate onto an objective to score 8 primary. What's not to love?
Yeah.
Gotta love supply drop. Or Percival, sorry. If it was
You don't have to actually. You can just not.
You don't have to love supply drop at all.
Yeah.
Strongly agree. Outside that, I had a really cool weekend. I played against round 1. I played against 6K Imperial Knight models, which was great fun. Got to have a bit of a speed run there against Alan. Round 2, I played against Sisters, played by Caleb, which was a really cool Bringers of Flame list. The boards for this weekend were like really light. Like imagine playing on like
board.
Yeah, they were kind of like they were fixed layouts, and they were using like WTC analogous terrain. But they were just set up in such a way that like there was never a ruin on objectives that you could hide any models on, and there was no staging to get to them. It was just like Deathwing Knights were just walking out and dying because they would just get shot by an army. You couldn't like control what was shooting them at all. You were just like, if you're on an objective, 1,000 points could see you. And Deathwing Knights are durable, but they're not that durable. But also half the boards were UKTC boards, which are significantly denser. I played on the other boards 4 times. The one time I didn't was against 18 Bulgren and Indirect.
Oops.
Just like, what was the point? So yeah, that was interesting. My particular shout out for my game 3 against Ratnu, who was playing Chaos Knights, where all 4 objectives in Hidden Supplies Taken Hold were in the open. And I'm just like, this is gonna be tough.
Yeah. Yeah, that list is many things. A shooting savant. It is not.
No, playing a game of just being like, I have a las cannon, and I can trade vaguely with nothing. None of my units have OC.
There's a version of that list that runs a Reaper. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw a version floating about with double Vindicator in some of the WTC lists as well.
One of them is 3. Spain
is 3. Yeah, Spain's list is wild. Yeah, there's like a few variations of it. I'm definitely gonna keep playing about with it after WTC between that and the French CSM list, which just looks like a beauty to play. It looks like so much fun. Rack just moving a curse cost 4 times a turn.
Sure.
Renegade Raider's a curse list. It just I love the idea of having a curse squad that charges something, tags another thing, falls back from it, surrounds it, blood surges back into it, then falls back from it, and then charges into your opponent's deployment zone.
Whee!
I want to play the French Black Templars list is what I want to play. Like
you don't want to paint the French Black Templars.
I don't want to paint it. I want to play it.
What do you mean? You could paint that like an afternoon with a fire hose. What are you talking about?
That is true.
Paint the Black Templars list that France is playing. What the fuck were you even talking about?
It's a 100 Primaris Crusaders list.
It looks so fun though. I won't lie. If that magically appeared on my doorstep, I would paint it the week I got back from WTC and play it just forever.
Yeah, dude, that shit is sick. I would play something like that. That list could show up at my house and I wouldn't play it. That's too many dudes.
Game 4, I played against Ryan Cook, one of the Scottish boys I traveled down with from our practice group. Not one of our team players, but he was a little hungover and had one of those turns where he pushed 12 Bulgren at me, and then I killed them all. And then he walked out with all the guns that were like positioned for like when I killed the Bulgren, and shot all of them at the 5 Deathwing Knights and did 4 damage to my Mark for Death squad in front of a Dorn and 2 Russes, and went, I'm going to bed because he had been. And I was like, that's understandable. You've just done no damage with your entire go turn. Respectable. And then round 5, I played against Nathan Whitbread, who was playing Black Templars Ironstorm, which was a complete mess of a game, but great fun. Had to go first, which was a little rough into Ironstorm, on a board with, again, 3 objectives that were functionally in the open. But thancefully, without the advanced shoot, it was actually quite easy to keep them at arm's length, I found. He just didn't have it. He had the lethals enhancement instead. So I was just kind of able to sit where like one Valiant could get within line of sight of me, but couldn't get range because it's only 18 inches on the multi-metas, and just kind of walked up the border a bit, played some ingress, and then had a good turn where the repulsor got to use the fabulous ability to pivot 1 billion inches, to like come out from behind a ruin, drift around another one, come out from a third one, spin 180 degrees, dump eradicators out the front, and nuke a unit off an objective. Because why wouldn't you be able to be like 30 inches away from where you started with a 10-inch move?
Yeah, that rule is one of the things they've added to the game, that's for sure.
Yeah, the pivot rules are interesting now. I will definitely say, like, with the Dark Angel Gladius, I did not feel like I was using the Eradicators all that well at the beginning of the event. Like the first couple of games of them, I was definitely finding them really awkward. And then, she's spooked.
Yeah, get a ghost of Anna on stream.
But like as the tournament went through, I got a better feel for the cadence of like when I wanted them in reserve, when I wanted them in the repulsor, when I wanted them like etc. in different places. And it was like, the one thing I will say for that Gladius list is it really feels like you have an incredible toolbox, both in terms of like pre-game options and during game options, which I really liked. Being able to switch where your characters are and all that kind of stuff was great fun. It feels like there's a lot of room to get it wrong as well, which a player like John will not at WTC, right? That's obviously part of the fun of it.
Yeah, it's that Eradicator unit is really easy to play against incorrectly as well.
Yes.
They're just like, it's fun. It's just a couple Melta shots, and they hand you like 13 saves. You're like, you had what? The fuck was that?
Yeah, game one, I jumped it out, shot a knight to like 5 health and charged it with the Deathwing Knights, right? Because Brutality and shields, etc. And then he shot them, killed 3 of them, because I went to ground and armor contempted because I was not letting them die in the night match. Walked the 2 multi-melters into range and handed Canitrex 8 wounds.
Yep.
Outside of Dev Doctrine. Just rolled 4 6s. I'm just like,
sometimes you die.
Sometimes you don't. Oh, sorry, not Constraint Crusader. Sometimes you just don't get units, guys.
Yeah.
Very, very fun Daishi. Or the 3 carnivores I killed on Overwatch.
Yep. Yeah, it's also fucked up in Overwatch. That unit's just stupid. Like.
Yeah, it was great fun. Had a good time with it. So yeah, managed to win that one out. I went 5-0. There were 3 5-0s in the tournament. One of them was Will Whitaker, one of the Team England guys playing Penitent host. So shout out to that guy. And then Pierce Condra from Team Ireland playing Thousand Suns. Pierce, shout out to him. He got attacked by a seagull recently and very badly damaged his foot. So I just wanted to know that it's really funny, and I feel really bad for you. But it's really funny that he lost a fight to a seagull, and you should definitely ask him about it if you see him at WTC.
That's pretty rough, dude.
I don't understand anything about that. A, getting attacked by a seagull. B, I hurt my foot while fighting the seagull. C, I lost the fight to the seagull.
You didn't lose it, but you didn't hurt his foot fighting the seagull. You lost it fleeing from the seagull. So yeah, shout out to Pierce. You're a wonderful gem of a human being. But you did lose a fight to a seagull, and I really, really hope that Joe, the Irish captain, follows through on painting seagulls on the back of his 3 Doom sides that he's playing at WTC.
Oh, please do it.
No, dude.
Joe, please, dude. Please, Joe. Yeah, that's all I got. I might have Butterfingers. Yeah, I spent. No, I think there were still like 6 in the cupboard. Please don't put me with Butterfingers. I can't fix another Butterfinger.
I'm bringing a bunch of snacks for people, but not Butterfingers and S.
I will be doing a bunch of baking on Friday. Nathan, what time do you land?
Like
so I can know how to plan my day.
Oh, sure. You want me to figure? I'll Google it real quick in my mail.
Yeah, please. Just I need to know how much time I have during the day before you show up and I go to Chris's. So
I get in at 10:30 in the morning.
Not a lot then. Okay. Cool. All right, Nathan. I think that's enough vamping. Do you want to roll us into the stats? How has everything been looking in Pariah Nexus?
I don't think anybody's going to be too surprised about what I'm about to talk about for last week of stats, because I'm going to talk about the last week of stats, and then I'm going to pull up the metadata dashboard because it's been updated. So we'll look at all Pariah Nexus in kind of some as well, and kind of take a peek under the hood and see how we're doing from a balance perspective. At the top of the chart for just using win rate kind of as our proxy for sorting at the moment, Drukhari at 14 players, 3.1% of the meta, and a 70.1% win rate. 3 event wins, 4 top 4s, 8 top 10s, and a 3.27 over rep. Just some classic thick city style dominance of a meta, or early Drukhari codex in 9th kind of situations is what we're seeing there. Thousand Suns are next at 17 players, 3.7% of the meta, a 60% win rate, 1 event win, 2 top 4s, 6 top 10s, and a 1.35 for over rep. And then suddenly we've gone back to early 10th. Eldari are in 3rd, 3.5% of the meta with 16 players, a 57.4% win rate. No event wins, 2 top 4s, 6 top 10s, and a 1.43. Space Wolves are in 4th, 10 players, 2.2% of the meta, a 53.9% win rate. No placements really per se, other than 2 top 10s, so they get a 0 for over rep. Rounding out the top 5 is Sisters with 19 players for a 4.1% meta representation, 53.6% win rate, 1 event win, and 3 top 4s, 6 top 10s for a 1.81 over rep. The other event winners from the weekend are Dark Angels with a 51.7% win rate, 1 event win, 2 top 4s, 3 top 10s for a 1.09. So perfectly balanced are Dark Angels. And then we have Necrons with an event win, a 50% win rate, 2 top 4s, 4 top 10s, and a 1.27. And then just generic Space Marines with an event win and a top 4 and 2 top 10s for a 0.52.
Someone event with generic Space Marines? What a hero.
I know. And then Blood Angels have an event win, which is their top 4 and their top 10 for a 0.52 for over rep with a 40.5% win rate. And then Gene Stealer Colts got an event win, which is their top 4. And they got 2 top 10s and a 1.43 for over rep. So, one of the...
Before anyone gets excited, it was Eric Lathrus. Just don't include it in the stats, effectively. That man could win an event with 750 points of, 8th edition Space Marines from before they got 2 wounds.
If you pull Eric's numbers out of this, by the way, they lose their five wins, I assume, from his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they go down to 7 wins and 24 losses. Or 7 wins and 24 losses. So they no longer are doing so hot, even remotely at this point.
So
but they
just
also
to confirm 20-something% win rate without Eric in the stats?
Something like that, basically. It's fine. And then Orcs have fallen like the furthest. They only had 9 players this week. Oh, poor Orcs.
Did Orcs have -1 GT wins this weekend?
Something like that. Something like that. That's the previous weekend, but we'll talk about that some other time. Or maybe in a minute. I don't know. Okay, that's fair too. And then Deathwatch had 2 players and a 50% win rate. So good job, Deathwatch players.
They just play each other?
Maybe. That would be okay. They'd probably feel better about it. We talked about 2 of the bottom 5 factions. The other one is Orcs, who have that 42.6% win rate. And then Tau, apparently, despite Fast Gun, good. Only a 44.3% win rate. And then generic Space Marines round that out at a 44.9% win rate.
I mostly am in awe at how bad those Blood Angel stats were.
They're real bad. They had 22 players. And a 40% win rate.
Is everybody just anticipating the book disappearing and we're just whatever, we'll just stop playing them? Because they're not fine. Anthony, you're muted, by the way. I don't know if you know.
I just have nothing productive to add on Blood Angels having a low win rate. That won't just be kind of mean to the community of people currently playing them.
Reasonable.
They've all moved on to Dark Angels is the charitable interpretation I'm going to go with.
Let's go with that.
We're all just meta slaves for the best -1 damage unit in the game. So we were all Ironstorm players, then we were Blood Angels players, and now we're Death Knight players. It's incredible that Space Marines Space Marines identity so far has been the busted -1 damage unit this edition with the Storm Raven as well.
Yep.
That's just been Marines identity.
It's the worst. It's just the worst.
It's great. It's perfect. It's exactly.
And then I'm gonna do.
There should probably do something about that mechanic.
They should bring back Armor Contempt as an army ride rule for Space Marines, but make it -1 damage instead of -1 AP.
Oh my god. A whole army of -1 damage. Come on, Dennis. Why?
What?
Space Marines
not Death Guard.
You've seen the Codex Space Marine win rate.
Not Death Guard. Space Marines.
Death Guard have a higher win rate than Codex Space Marines right now, Nathan.
That's true.
Do Death Guard have a higher win rate than Codex Space Marines? Yes. We're going to talk about.
There you go. Let's make -1 damage the generic Space Marine rule. So if you just play regular Space Marine
Shut
with
up.
no additional chapter, you get -1 damage.
Ugh.
All right, we're gonna switch over to the summary stats, which I'm gonna go over to the metadata dashboard, and I'm gonna do everybody's favorite thing where I share my screen.
Oh,
Sorry,
hell yeah,
podcast
dude.
listeners.
Oh, my favorite. We're gonna go with a tab. It will be this. Oh, I think this worked. Oh, cool, it worked. Excellent,
beautiful.
amazing, the
I'm so
best.
proud of you, buddy.
It's so
I know. I
crazy
managed to
when
do
things
like
work.
a whole tech thing without breaking everything in the world. All right, so like I said, we still have Drukhari in top place, 59% win rate, 2.5 over rep, 11% of the meta, and then 11% 4-0 starts, and then 6 GT wins, which is the most of any faction currently. Thousand Sons have a 57% win rate, a 1.37, and also an 11% 4-0 rate. 2 event wins, and then Sisters of Battle, 57%, 1.92, a 14% 4-0 event start, and then 5 GT wins, followed by Blood Angels, who, despite being really bad this last weekend, actually in totality are doing probably just, great.
You're
55%.
fine, guys, just in case anybody was curious.
And also 5 GT wins for them, 55% win rate, and a 1.72 for over-rep for them. At the very bottom, we have Gene Stealer Colts, who have only netted a 40% win rate. They are pretty much by far doing the worst of any faction, except for perhaps Orcs, who are having a real rough time of it.
I'll have more GT wins than Chaos Knights, Black Templars, Deathwatch, and Orcs.
Yeah, but I think your play experience is better for those other factions than it is with Gene Stealer Colts. But, I could be wrong. Space Marines are the second, 41%, 0.62 over rep, but they do have 2 GT wins, so there's probably something in there that you can make work. Orcs have a 42% win rate, 0.78. Only 2% of their lists are going 4-0. No event wins, while making up 4% of the player population.
It's insane that 14% of Sisters players are going 4-0.
It is a lot. That's a wild number. It's pretty good. And then Death Guard are indeed doing better than generic Space Marines with a 47% win rate, a 1.09 for overrep, and 3 GT wins.
Yeah, just a rough math it. 1.6%, 1 in 16 play people should be going 4-0 on base. Right, that's the rough math. So if it's more than that, that's like 10% above average rate. I don't think that math's out. It must be twice that, but it seems really high.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, there are only 5 factions who haven't won a GT at this point. One of them is a faction that is Deathwatch. The other 4 are Orcs, Black Templars, Chaos Knights, and Leagues of Votan. Who it feels like, at least for Leagues of Votan, they're powerful enough to win a GT, and they just haven't gotten their moment. I watched Chuck Arnett play them at Tacoma, and they looked pretty good. They did a really good job. Right up until they ran into, something they couldn't quite handle, but the army looks like it has legs.
Like they're a competent enough army. The inclusion of the Jaeger definitely opens up a ton of capacity for that army to win games, right? As much as it might be awkward design space. I know Anthony had his chat about that one a couple of episodes ago, but they definitely open up the ability for Votan to be a very competent army. I think I was personally in the WTC stats, Votan are 18 of 40 teams. That was significantly more than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, they're just cheap, good gun play mission good. They're boring as fucking sin, but they're pretty good at what they do.
Medium fast gun, pretty okay. I think.
Medium fast gun with okay combat sometimes is fucking yeah, dude. Let's go, baby.
They do also have the problem, and I think Dominic pointed this out in chat, is that they only have a 2% player population at this point, so they are one of the least played factions in the game.
Yeah, well, that's because they're the lukewarm seltzer of Warhammer factions.
That's fair. They do have both a very generic design and a very generic play pattern that leads to very generic results.
It's also entirely possible that you just can't get a hold of Jaeger right now.
I mean,
that could also be part of it.
3D printing and a bit of gumption, warriors and a little bit of silly putty. You can get most of the way there.
Then I'll just expand out Sisters so people can kind of see where that's kind of coming from, at least for them, because they have multiple detachments.
Damn, Army of Faith is terrible.
Army of Faith is having a bad day.
Host, let's go.
Penitent Host, yeah, the best by win rate. No GT wins though, but a 25% 4-0 offense rate. Which, it's also because they, I think, only have a couple players.
That sounds like
Um,
context.
Eight players. Yeah, 8 players. So that, yeah, sorry. I have to bring you the educated context moment there, buddy.
We
By
flip into Chaos Space Marines. How are Deceptors doing? So we know how Anthony's other army is doing.
Fuck.
Let's go down to it. All right, Chaos Space Marines. We all the way at the bottom.
That's not a good start.
Here's
Dude,
where
they're not
we're
even
going.
last.
Look at this. Deceptors
go,
are not
baby.
last. They have a 34% win rate. They're beating out Fellhammer Siege Host by 1%.
Well, the weekend in October where I have to play them, they'll have a slightly higher win rate. Boom.
He hopes.
And then
Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah. I do hope.
Shout out to Chaos Cult, by the way. Derek,
Yo, Chaos Cult is good. I am earnestly surprised that we didn't see Chaos Cult at WTC. I think I'll put it to you that most of the lists that take 3 accursed bricks would be just better as fucking Chaos Cults.
That entirely might be true.
Yeah.
Accursed are a good data sheet.
Still funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then it's Chaos Cult with the highest, but they have 6 players. Packbound Zealots, Renegade Raiders, and then Soulforge Warpack are kind of.
I do genuinely think the Chaos
pulling
Cult data
everything
sheet
along.
might just be Derek Apshey like 4 times, and then like 2 other people who played it.
Yeah,
as well.
it's probably mostly Derek, but you know.
Yeah. What do you reckon the odds are?
The Chaos Space Marine faction, despite their. Yeah, I was going to say, despite their relatively low win rate.
We're both going to do it. Cool.
I was just going to say they still have 5 GT wins, so they're doing fine in skilled hands. They're right up there with Thousands or with Sisters of Battle, Blood Angels, and Drukhari from a GT wins perspective.
Yeah, I mean Josh is playing them, right? That's usually a good sign. Yeah, I think there's a very reasonable chance that by the time we roll around to Champions Cup and LGT, that CSM are the best army in the game again. I don't even think it would be that surprising if it happened.
Interesting.
They're really good. And there's a bunch of new lists design out there. Like we've got Derek running the Chaos Cult stuff. There's all the Renegade Raider stuff that's come out from WTC. There's the Packbound list that England are running. Some people are super high on. Like I think I would not be surprised if they were a top 5 army again. Like in terms of performance, because they're already doing really well tournament result wise, right? Like they have as many wins as Blood Angels, Sisters, and Drukhari, while being significantly lower.
Their win rate needs a little help, but yeah, I think that'll change with adoption post WTC. I think.
But if you also look at their player population, right, they're the most represented army outside of like combined Marines.
Yeah,
outside of Tyranids, I think, if I'm reading that correctly.
And Necrons, yeah. Tyranids and Necrons are at 6%. Chaos Space Marines are at 7%.
Yeah, so they're the most represented full combined Space Marines faction, and they're still putting up tournament results, even though their win rate is very low. Generally, factions with super high play rates tend to be a little compressed just because of volume of player base, right?
Right.
So I think CSM are in a really great spot. I played them at GT last weekend, the weekend before last, and they felt fantastic the entire time.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're just a good army. So, yeah.
If World Leaders ever die, that'll be what I take to Champs Cup.
Nice.
We'll see.
Stealing my Champs Cup army.
No, you're gonna play Dark Angels.
Aren't you playing Penitent Host?
No, that's Typhus. Typhus is going to play
we really do need to think about how we're going to split these armies.
Typhus will play Penthost. I'll just play World Leaders. It's fine. They're not going to get nerfed again. Or if anything gets nerfed, it'll be the fucking Forge Fiends because people can't play the army without shooting.
They're going to get nerfed because of Brian's WTC list. They're just going to get nerfed for everybody down to damage 2.
Okay. That would be awesome for me. I would love that.
Great, yeah. I'd have a great time with that.
Please.
What I really wanted, though, was for Anthony to tell me about Drukhari and why he thinks Drukhari are A, too good, or B, terrible, and nobody knows what they're doing.
Oh, I think Drukhari is awesome as long as your opponent isn't. I think that it's really easy to trip into a high win rate when you go 3-2. I don't really have good things to say about Drukhari. I want them to be good really badly. And I play against other WTC teams that thought they were really good. We were like, all right, bro. Today's the day. We're playing against, insert countries here, Drukhari list. A bunch of Americans are going to watch, and this is going to be the day that we're like, oh shit, Drukhari's good. And then the guy that we got playing against them just kills all their boats. And then the other guy's like, man, no one ever does this. And then they lose. And I'm like, well, it appears to be the same thing again. So now what? I think they're probably really good into like some stuff. There's probably a couple things that they're pretty unfair into, right? But is that Drukhari being really unfair and good, or is that Scourges, who would probably be better off being Yanari, being unfair and good? I don't know.
I'm
Look,
so fucking sick of Scourges.
yeah, that data sheet is dumb, but you
Why did they
know
move 14?
yeah, it's not a good idea. But I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't like. It's really like the few games that I've played as Drukhari, where I was like punching down. Oh, that army's tight, dude. It's sick. Where I'm like playing like down a skill bracket or a few. Like that army's dope. You get to do really cool shit. Get in and out of your boat. You feel like a genius. And then like you go like equal skill level, and your opponent like shoots at your boat with like a handful of bolters, and then it dies, and you're like, fuck. Now I have the same detachment rule I had in Real Space Raiders or whatever it was called, and then your army's back to not being very good, and it's very sad. I don't know. Dude, Liam, all you, dude, go nuts. I ain't getting your way. You put whatever the fuck you want, bro. I would love to live in a world where I liked and wanted to play Drukhari, but one day someone will play against one of our boys and blow my socks off. It just hasn't happened yet, and eventually, maybe question mark, it will. Maybe it'll happen at WTC. Maybe it'll be me. Maybe I'll play against like the Austrian Drukhari or something, and I'll just get fucking destroyed, and I'll be like, oh, that was how you're supposed to do it. We're idiots. Now I understand. It's entirely possible. I just, so far, low success rate. And maybe it's WTC boards or team stuff or whatever. Maybe the singles Drukhari players are just like built different. But so far, nothing.
That's fair.
My experience, like my experience has probably just been like once those boats are gone and those boats are not land raiders, it gets uphill very fast.
As a team that's taking Drukhari to WTC, we've been very impressed with them. I look forward to seeing the differences in results as a result.
Dude, I want them to be sick. I'll be hyped if I'm wrong. I just,
This is the interesting part
you're also
of
playing
WTC.
World Eaters, dude. Like you and nobody else. So
no, it's not. Yeah, it's not me. Like I'm not saying my army is the one that's dunking them, but
no, I just mean like people play armies that they're good at, right? In theory, let's hope that's the This is the WTC. There, everybody just got to play the army that they liked.
Dude, if everybody just got to play the army that they liked, I'd be playing Drukhari. Like,
Christ, it's even worse.
Yeah. The vampire space elf pirates are my favorite thing in 40k, but they're just they were not doing it. And then our fearless leader needed them for his not Yanari list, so
very fair. Is there anything else that we want to touch on from the stats or the last weekend?
There's nothing really too exciting. I think this last weekend, the events were a little bit smaller. All the larger events were the weekend before. I have the faction stuff up from WTC, which I think is really interesting. The distribution of factions is like very clear for like 5 factions, and then after that it gets kind of a little bit random, but it is like a perfect bell curve. So it'll be interesting to see where some of that kind of stuff goes at the end of it.
It felt like there was pretty discrete tiers at the WTC, right? There was the factions that every team has, the factions that about half the teams have, the factions that some teams have, and the factions that a couple teams have, right? A kind of like 5, 10, 20, and 30 plus lists. So it felt like a fairly stratified meta. The fact that there's so much difference between what all the top teams are taking, right? We've got like pool 1 seats like Austria playing Chaos Demons, we've got Admech on the Polish roster, we've got the Crusher Stampede for USA, right? Like there's just so much diversity in the team pod, and it just it speaks to a really cool meta game. I'm really really excited to like for that aspect of it. I'm enjoying like the Pariah Nexus part, but
I think
because I don't think this would have happened if we were in Leviathan.
I think most of WTC is like, do you have a pilot for a thing that's passionate about it? Because like many things could make the cut. It's like, does someone give a shit enough to argue for their thing to make the cut? If yes, decent odds you took it. If not, probably not. That's why I think honest to God, I think Grey Knights probably should be on most 8s, but I think most people that have to play the Grey Knights are then like, oh, I don't want to argue that I have to do this. So you end up without them. And I think that happened to a lot of teams.
Yeah, potentially fair. There's
I
also
think there's
just
a lot of stuff like that. Like the Nids, I could totally see not ending up on a roster because someone's like, oh, I don't want to do that for 7 rounds. Like,
I don't want to learn the names of these data sheets.
yeah, that too. Like,
So there's a
I had
question.
to have a conversation with my team, like, hey guys, I know names are weird. You're gonna have to like go and like learn them a little bit so that
Just
you
a
don't
touch.
point at the Tervigon and shoot the Termagants, right? Because
Right.
we can't have that at WTC.
Yeah, just a vague idea, you know?
Just like know if it's a monster or not based on how the name like feels in your mouth. That's all I
Yeah.
need, dude.
Yeah. That's basically how I do it, and I played them for a while.
Yeah, what's the mouthfeel between Haruspex and Hormagaunt? Like, come on, man, it's got Gaunt in the name. Like, you
Gaunt
could
in the
just-
name. Gaunt
Exactly.
is little. Yeah.
But yeah,
Come on.
no, it's somehow nobody gets it. So
Embarrassing, truly.
Except for Barb Gaunts. They're not particularly little.
they're pretty little. Like
Did
on a
anyone take
Tyranid scale,
those?
they're pretty little.
Hmm?
There are probably some Bargons at WTC. They're not like bad.
Isn't their datasheet rule real annoying?
It's -2 to move advance in charge for an infantry unit they shoot against.
Yeah, that's very annoying. I'm biased, but like, still.
Yeah, they're like 55 points. They're D6 shots. They're only 24 inch range. They're fairly
They're
fragile.
blast.
They're
Yeah.
blast. They're a good data sheet. It's just like they don't really.
They're not
You
as
know,
good as
they're
120 point exocrines or whatever monstrous
Exactly.
cost those things are these days.
135 or
Yeah.
135. Yeah, they're a little cheap.
You better
I
have
know
a real
Laura
good.
played like 90 of them or 30 of them, but
Yeah. You better have
That
a real
wasn't-
good argument why you're not taking that third exocrine before you start putting Barb Gaunts in.
there are no Barb Gaunts at WTC.
Okay. Sad, but fair.
Are you playing War Masters in this?
I am playing War Masters. I'm
I
playing.
thought you were gonna ask
Dark
me.
Angels.
I know
like-
you're not,
tough
Anthony.
enough for that.
What are you playing in War Masters in this?
I'm playing the Dark Angels list. My
Okay.
list is called Lenant.
I love it. Everything about that is great.
That's pretty good.
Or sorry, I think my nickname is Lenant. My list is the same shit as last year.
That's funny.
It was very funny to look at lists and like I haven't looked at the WTC meta as closely as probably I should have in advance of some stuff, but it was funny to just see everything 15 Deathwing Knights again. I was like, man, nothing ever changes. Never.
More Nights than last year.
It's so funny. I was recording Art of War Down Under. I was like, oh, cool, we're full circle and we're right back to Deathwing Knights again.
Dude, they're pretty good.
They are very good.
I really
won't
enjoyed
lie.
having one squad with swords so that they could actually kill anything that had like 10 models in it. That was great. Really enjoyed that. They bounced off a scout squad. Warhammer is
Fucking
big.
rude of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I'm playing. What are you playing for War Masters, Nathan?
I'm playing Hallowed Martyrs. So I'm playing Sisters of Battle. I am borrowing an army that has backpacks this year. Poor Innes is now
sick.
dying. I
stole a
borrowed an army
Canadian
from. Yeah, I did. I borrowed the army from a Canadian. So the
There were
army will have
39 other countries you could have stolen from, and every single one of them would have resulted in a higher success rate.
It's true. It's funny because I think Innes, you were like, you can just borrow whatever you want from like our collective cupboards of models. And I was like, nah, I'm going to borrow just a whole army from somebody and we'll just see what I get at the end of it. I've played some practice games with Hallowed Martyrs and it is quite fun. If people want to look at it, yeah, I actually I think a lot of people don't play Hallowed Martyrs as much because they're kind of bored of the index detachment a little bit, but there's some fun stuff in that detachment, especially now that the Codex is out and they've changed a few things.
There's also like, if any army in 40k could be described as like railing a line of cocaine, it's advancing more than Vol 17 and shooting.
I disagree. It's advancing the Repentia 20x inches out of a rhino and charging. That's some shit. You ever
I'm
just
like-
moved a threat range worth of distance? God damn, it gets me every
dude,
time.
I played Kraken Gene Stealers. I used to tell my opponents through my threat range in feet. It was 5. So
Damn,
I'm
missed the boat on that.
I'm
yeah,
actually
you could
very
you could double
No.
move, double your advance distance, rolled 3 dice for your advance, So you could go
That's tight.
40 and charge.
Fuck yeah.
I will
From
say I'm
on
actually
foot,
very
just for
jazzed
reference.
for this army because it plays in a way that I think I'm more comfortable with, which is like
a bitch.
yes, actually, you're not wrong. But, you know, paying a CP for you to only be able to punch the 5 Seraphim next to the Volgons seems kind of okay. I don't know. Maybe it'll be all right. Might be bad. I plan on disrespecting people as much as possible on my way to going like 3 and 3 or something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
How
it depends
long
if you
I
get kicked out for something. Like I might send Riley some cash to just like break a couple backpacks off, just not give them to you until like, and then you can just glue them back on during the main event.
Oh yeah.
His army is so beautifully painted as well because Riley does commission painted armies, so his army is actually just beautiful. And I am going to have to be like exceptionally careful all weekend to not break anything. Is really the truth of the matter.
So you're saying I'm gonna have to send him quite a lot more money to break a backpack off?
Yes, is what I'm saying. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to potentially play some practice games this weekend against some more people. We'll see what kind of happens. That's about it.
Do you have the army with you for this weekend, or are you just like winging it?
I'm just winging it.
Great. We do not have a Halimar sister army. I don't know how to explain this to you.
It's like 90% of a. Do you have a sister's army?
Yeah.
But are guys going to be using it?
I'll play whatever. I don't really give a shit.
More games of Pariah might be helpful for our Cloud-Struck boy, just in general. It doesn't
true.
really matter what army it is. So he doesn't draw a card and go, what the fuck is that?
So I don't know if people heard this about the Tacoma event, but the first deck of cards that everybody got had no mission rule title on it. So it was just the rules, but no name for the mission on them. So
I want them so bad.
You want those?
Yeah, dude. I want to put those in stat check sleeves and be like, yeah, man, you got to figure it out.
God damn it.
It's this one. And just
you should have told me. There was a whole box basically of them left over because nobody wanted to take them and we ended up throwing them all away, I'm pretty sure.
Heartbreaking. Truly heartbreaking. It's the saddest news I've had all day.
I did, however, at Tacoma have a really funny conversation in this with Josh Roberts about how you've lied to me about how great 5th edition was, basically.
5th? I've never said 5th was great. I didn't.
Or 7th? It might have been 7th.
I was 12 during 5th.
It might have been 7th edition. Because you always tell me how great invisibility and things were.
Invis was great fun as long as you were the guy casting it.
Yes. And instead I got to have a really long and extended moment where he trauma dumped on me about 7th edition.
Josh was responsible
just
for
to
a
talk
decent amount
about
of other people's trauma that edition. Just before like we get too far away from that, like Josh was a significant portion of most people's trauma. Like it's very important to people understand that he did play Triple Wraith Knight that edition. So.
He did. He told me a story about WTC and Skark related to Triple Wraith Knights that I don't know, maybe I'll relay later because we're vamping again onto a different topic, I suppose.
We're talking about Warhammer with this vamping, so it's fine. 7th, I will describe 7th as the eternal treadmill. As long as you stayed on the treadmill and you kept dealing with the new releases that came out, it was great. If you tried to watch the guy that was like dodging flying bricks coming at him while he was running on a treadmill, you wouldn't opt to get on it. And trying to get off it could be dangerous. But if you were on it, you were probably having a runner's high at the time of your life, and that was pretty good. And like, it was one of those like meta games, like a House of Cards, where everything like kind of answered each other because they were all so incredibly broken that they could all like play each other because the degree of bullshittery that you could inflict on each other was so high that like everything had an answer, even within like armies that could deal with each other or like countered each other. Like there was still interplay there, and it created a very like the 7 best armies could all play each other and were like reasonably balanced and had some interesting dynamics. And then the 8th best army couldn't play a game against any of them because they all had too many options, which meant that it was a really terrible game, but it was great fun. I really enjoyed it because I was on the treadmill because I was a university student with like 700 hours of free time a week, which meant it was really easy to be the person that was, doing that. But yeah, I mean, it was a terrible game and it was obviously for the best that it's gone. But it was great. I really enjoyed it.
I think my favorite story from that trauma dumping, though, was absolutely how you could summon demons in basically any army. And so there was one where it was like 500 Fenrisian wolves and then like some people in the middle.
One squad of 45.
Okay.
that was joined by Azrael, who gave them a 4 vulnerable save and a feel no pain as long as they were on objective.
Mhm. I think that was my favorite though from the weekend was that one, and then you could teleport them because you had a drop pod that would come down and
You would swap.
switch
It wasn't
space.
teleporting. Switch places.
It was like teleporting, but they would swap places. Then
Yeah.
you'd have
And then you
no
give them a
place
4.
to
Then you
go.
give them. It could only be on 6s, and then you give them a rerollable save, and then you'd give them rending on all their attacks.
Yeah.
So that they
Not
were
bad.
just the ignored armor saves on 6s, and then you killed God. It was great. Yeah, my favorite army was you used to be able to buy like terrain attachments. So you could bring a scattered landing pad and then buy barricades to stick on it, which were like 6x2 plates. You could just staple to the side of it to block line of sight, and then you could bring in a Astra Militarum or summoning Psychana platform, which was basically 3 squads of psychers joined by psychers that had a commissar to shoot them in the head if they like committed, if they like got too uppity. And then you would use that to summon demons on the scheduled landing pad because if you summon them on the scheduled landing pad, they couldn't scatter. So they would just come down in place because otherwise you had to roll randomly where they went. And then you had some Gene Stealer cult dudes that would also roll for the summoning ability, and then 3 Chaos Knights. And that was going to be my ETC army if we could play 7th in 2017.
This is my favorite rabbit hole, I won't lie. Every time you go, the deeper you go into the 7th edition shenaniganry, the more and more twisted and bullshittery it gets until you realize that nobody who says that they liked it is telling the truth.
My last ever game of 7th edition that I played, which we recorded on stream and is probably still on my Facebook archive somewhere, I randomly rolled up a Warlord trait because that was how it worked at the time. And I randomly rolled up a Warlord trait that was +4 to Seize. And Seize was a mechanic where if you were going second, you weren't anymore. So, and then I had Kotyaz, who gave you a reroll on that. And that was random. I just got that because I rolled a 4. You weren't allowed to pick them. That would be too powerful. You couldn't just pick your Warlord trait. You had to generate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything about 7th sounds wrong when you describe it to anybody who hasn't played it. And it was wrong in the moment as well. Like, it wasn't... Like, looking back at it, I don't think I was having fun a single time. But I was 19, so in general, I was probably enjoying it because I maybe didn't know better.
Yeah, your bar for enjoying a thing was quite low.
Yeah, exactly. I had friends for the first time in my adult life. That was a very new thing for me. So very easy to get over.
I mean, that's how WoW got me. So
It's fair and reasonable. Do you
Right.
want to do the plugs in this now that we've
I probably
waxed
should do the plugs
philosophic?
and then we can do the questions and stuff. So if you've been joining us on what is effectively, I think this is the last show before WTC. So next week I don't think we'll be live because basically all of us are going to be in Belgium with the exception of Cliff and Nathan, maybe not this Nathan, other Nathan. I think basically everybody else is there, so we'll be doing that stuff because it has a stranglehold on our lives, mental processes, and everything else. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah.
So we'll be so I don't think there'll be a show next week. There might be some bonus content. We might do like a live stream from WTC. I'll have my laptop with me. We can maybe try to jury something. We'll see what happens. No promises. Expect us to be back 2 weeks from today.
yeah, I'll see you guys in September.
Yeah, Anthony will be back for Champs Cup coverage.
Probably.
If you're enjoying the show and you want to support us, including doing awesome things like bringing Nathan out to WTC to do some of that coverage, you can check us out on youtube.com/statcheck. You can drop us a like, a comment, subscription, all those good things on the engagement that help us out with being able to continue to do more cool things and bring you stuff like the show and the WTC coverage. If you're in a position to and you would like to support us a little bit more, you can also check out patreon.com/statcheck. $5 a month gets you access to our Discord community as well as the our discount codes for things like the Red Dragon and the TTS leagues for the Vibecheck League that we recently just finished up. We should be launching up into the next one sometime after WTC's back once we're all recovered. So yeah, it's greatly appreciated. You can also check out stat-check.com/coaching if you would like to get help from either myself, Jeremy, Typhus, Tyler, or Nicholas. You can drop us a message there or drop us an email at coaching@stat-check.com. And we would love to help you out, especially post WTC. I'm sure there will be a lot of movement in the metagame and all that kind of stuff. So if you're wanting to prep up for any tournaments or just prepping for playing with your friends, drop us a message. We'd love to help you out. Lastly, you can check out all our sponsors. They're all in the description. But that's Red Dragon, J15 Games, Whale Yutani, and Saltar Games. There are a variety of discount codes down there. The Red Dragon code is specifically for patrons, but check it out. Give us a hand there. All the links give referrals back to us and stuff like that. Well, you came from us. It's a super big help for us to have those people helping us. So I think I'm going to leave it there. There are also other shows on the network. You can find them all on YouTube. Let's move on to the show questions, which, as always, if you want to guarantee get your question answered, you can either leave us a super chat on the YouTube stream, or you can comment in the Discord on the show thread for that given week, in which case we will make sure we get to your questions, unless they're terrible questions phrased badly or just aren't questions, which is always a threat.
All right. Before we go into questions, I will shout out two things that we did, or I did. So I was a guest on Art of War Down Under, along with StatCheck Discord member Frank from Dirt Sheets, who is now known as Dirty Frank. So congratulations, Frank, on getting a terrible nickname as the process of Art of War Down
He's
Under.
the Frank Dar.
Yeah, he's so
Dirty Frank is rough.
You can, I know it's Dirty Frank in the sheets. It's not good.
Oh man, it's so rough.
Sorry, Frank.
Sorry, Frank. But you can check that out on Art of War Down Under's page, where you can watch the part 1 where we talk about faction representation and stuff.
Don't watch it with kids around.
We don't actually swear very much in the first half. We were given pretty clear instructions that we were only allowed one fuck, and that was it.
What you use it on?
One
I actually didn't swear, which was quite wild. I don't think I swore for either part of the episode, which is wild.
Wow.
And then the other thing to check out is Contact Lost, where we're doing round 0 pairings where we interview all captains or players from all the teams. And you can watch my ridiculous bullshittery questions at the end of each one, where I try to get people to, have some fun and stir the pot a bit and throw shade at people.
Nathan
so last week,
Drukhari's, dude, it was sad.
I can't make all of them because they record at 3 p.m. during the day, and so that requires me to step out of work to record stuff, which isn't always easy. But last week's episode was with Austria's team captain, and I'm going to try to record one while I'm in Scotland if I have the time. And that's kind of it. Those are the two things. Go check out Contact Loss and go check out Art of War Down Under. And then Contact Loss will be doing all the studio streaming again, similar to last year. We did a bunch of upgrades to technology, so the audio quality should be much improved. Now questions. I'm going to start with the super chats, which so far is just Tim Pinney, who I don't know who that is, but he sent all emojis, which is hand, eye, lips, eye, hands. I love you, Tim. Please don't be sad. That is the only super chat so far, but thank you for the $4.99. Now to Patreon questions. The first question is from Chris, which is, what would the data sheet for the tiger shark's distant cousin look like, the panther whale?
It would have
exactly the same.
It would just be all rail guns. Every line would say railgun, like toughness, railgun, all of it.
Strength,
railgun,
wounds, railgun.
Railgun.
I was honestly going to say this already exists. It's just the manta, guys. That's just the manta. The manta's other name is panther whale.
Oh, damn it! That's a much better answer. Fuck.
Every now and then. Bryn asks, it's all the time I get to spend staring at scientific questions that gives me good name access. I don't know, man. Bryn says, what would you guys like to see Votann get in a second wave, aesthetically, or what the faction could really benefit from?
We all know the answer to this one, right? It's a long time running joke.
The beam plane.
The beam plane.
Oh, not the beam plane.
It's the beam plane and it's Juggernaut Cav. That's the two things the 4K is missing today, as we all know.
The giant floating Votann head is the thing that needs to happen. Just the giant floating Votann head.
If we get a beam plane and it's the giant floating head, kosher. I hope it's 1,000 points undercosted and with every list. That would be the best. Just losing to big floating domes. I would start Votann. If that happens, I will get an unreasonably well-commissioned floating beam plane head. That would be the fucking best.
I'm not saying you're wrong. It would be the best. It'd be the only acceptable aircraft in our hopefully
Actually,
aircraftless
monolith
future.
sized.
If they put those out, I would probably get one done of each member of the rest of my Alpine team. Like just a Brian and Ennis, a Typhus, and a Boomba just floating around, shooting lasers out of their eyes, mouth at people. Yeah, that's the best case scenario right there, folks.
My favorite one is how much Anthony hates Starter Cav, though. It still makes me laugh.
It's the fucking worst, dude. It makes me so mad when people ask for that. Why do you want more of a bad thing? The first Lords were shit. Just let it go.
All right. Derek has the next question, which is how do I draw the good cards more and the bad cards less?
You convince someone to play ninth with you.
Spend CP, guys. Come on, what are we doing?
I was going to say you have to trust the heart of the cards and use like that Yu-Gi-Oh! Like dual disc thing to draw your cards.
Play Eldar. There are no bad cards.
There you go. There you go. Good choices. Paul asks, which opposing team would you most like to play at WTC that you haven't quite had the chance to?
You know my answer.
Oh, it's Scotland. Okay, there you go. I was like, I don't know your answer, actually. That's nice, though.
So we play Denmark every year. So I can't say Denmark, but Denmark are our closest rivals. We almost always do like very close to them. So they're very much a team that I would love to get the opportunity to play against because they're a great benchmark for how well we're doing. Is when we play Denmark, do we beat them, lose them, or draw with them? And the years we beat them, we usually do well. The years we draw with them are usually like close, and the years we lose them are rough. So it's a great benchmark. It was round 7 last year, unfortunately, which meant it wasn't a great benchmark when we were like, oh yeah, cool. Yep, we're exactly where we thought we were as we draw.
Nailed it.
Yeah, perfect. Who would I like to play? I don't think we've ever played Germany since 2016. So I think that would be a really cool team to get to play against. Just not a team that we've ever really been in and around other than like 1 year where they weren't that great. So just, that would be a cool team to get a chance to play.
The Germans are actually cool this year. At least 4 of them have personalities.
Dude.
I honestly, not a team. I just want to play somebody fun that I've never played before, like maybe Liam or somebody like that. I think that would be fun to get my shit kicked in that hard. I don't know.
Playing Liam is a wonderful ass whooping. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's fine.
A lot of time.
I accept the fact that I'll get my ass whooped. I just want to. I don't usually get to play against people like that in person, so it'd be fun to play against somebody like that in person. That's all.
Also, he's so tall.
I know that's fine.
Yeah,
he can be tall. He can have the
TT. Yeah,
that's fine. Brendan asks a question that we already kind of answered, which was, does anyone understand what's going on with Drukhari? I think the only person who understands what's going on with Drukhari is Scary.
Yeah, Drukhari.
And Alex in our Discord.
That's fair.
Who?
Valdor.
Oh, yeah.
Valdor. There you go. Pius asks, how do your guys' WTC fantasy teams look like?
Oh, I can rattle mine off. I picked Kruger from Team Poland, who's playing Space Wolves. I picked Nas from Team England, who's playing Bulgren, because either I get points or they do terribly, and I figured that was win-win. I picked David Gaylord from Team New Zealand. I do forget who my other Tool 2 pick was. I'll come back to that one. I picked nope, I'm going to look it up because I have lost all of this. I thought I had this locked down. Profile. I posted on Twitter. Definitely did that.
All I did was pick Anthony.
Oh, yeah, I picked Liam from Team Belgium. Duh.
It's a reasonable Pool 2 pick.
Yeah, I picked Joka Johansson from Team Iceland, who's playing Grey Knights. I picked Jakub Jansa from Team Czechia, who's playing CSM. I picked Sebastian Gayart from Team Luxembourg, who's playing Sororitas. And I picked Angel C4 from Andorra, who's playing World Years. Yeah, Jakub's fantastic.
It's pretty good, dude.
I was pretty happy with that draft. What about you guys?
Him coming up to me after every round at Alpine, being like, just hammered, being like, how many did you score? It was very fun.
Anthony,
how many did you score?
It depends. A lot, usually.
Who did you draft, Anthony, or have you not done yours yet?
I didn't do mine yet.
Can we do yours live on stream?
Sure. Just send me a link to the thing and I'll do it.
Screen share. Can you screen share? I don't know if you can screen share.
I'm a big boy.
Are you logged in?
No, but there's a present button here at the bottom. I assume that works.
Sweet. We're gonna pick Anthony. We're gonna do Anthony's draft live on stream. This is gonna be great.
No way
never
this goes badly. No one's gonna get insulted by this.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's in the backstage.
Alrighty. Just the small waiting
And
period.
if you wanna do this yourself or follow along, you can do the contact loss stat check fantasy or sorry, not stat WTC fantasy draft yourself. It is here. And then Anthony is opening it up. This is great radio.
We're doing our best. This is good shit. All right, let's.
It's there. That's irrelevant to anybody who's. I'm not going to read that out loud. That would not work.
Share screen. Yes. Chrome tab. Window. Let's go with Chrome tab. So. Bam. All right. What's that? Oh, I should have filled that out. I'll fill that out at the end.
All right. So the idea with this is that you pick one player from each. So you pick 2 players from each pool, no more than 1 player per team, and no more than 1 player per army. So Anthony will have the opportunity to pick 2 players from pool 1, 2 players from pool 2, etc., etc. Can't have multiple players from a team. Can't have multiple players of the same army. So it should give a nice representation of the full meta game.
Yeah. Liam's playing Eldar, right?
Yes.
Where is my boy?
Liam's
what are they sorted by? Just
country.
anything? Country?
I don't know that they're sorted.
Yeah, it's country in alphabetical order.
There he is.
So Arna playing Thousand Suns.
Yeah.
For Team Germany.
And then we'll go with.
I'm just looking at all Anthony's friends that he's scrolling past and judging him.
Yeah, I'm trying to be tricky, dude. Trying to be slick.
Oh, you're also not allowed to draft yourself, just in case that was
not part of the plan.
Cool. Just double check. I know your matrix is always 12, so
that's true. You would have just been playing Blood Angels. It would have been so easy. Let's get weird. Where's France?
Pick Oliver. It's a good one.
France will be after England.
Yeah, I'm just just having a poke. Looking around. It's a shame because I would really love to pick Hugo, but he's playing the same army as Liam.
And everybody's picked Liam.
Sorry,
yeah, I think someone said 70% of players have picked Liam or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I believe it.
Yeah, I'm not shocked either.
Yeah. It was tough. It's almost like this is not supposed to be easy.
If it was, everybody would do it, right?
I imagine most people have done it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pick Dino, dude.
There you go.
Skark never lets you down, right? Skark is all reliable. Let's go with that. I don't think I'm gonna want another CSM down the pipe.
Fair. So Skark and Arna.
Yeah, we just take Liam because we're cowards. And who else?
Could take Gaylord.
Oh, it's got to be
He's
Ennis,
already got
right?
1,000 tons.
Yeah, it's got to be Ennis in pool too. Oh, Ennis is playing fucking Tyranids, but he wouldn't be playing Tyranids if he didn't think he could score with them. So we'll go with Ennis. Because Scotland is better this year, but I'm not sure that they're so well rounded that Ennis getting 10s is, a viable way through. So we'll go with that. I think that's fair. Down here in pool 3.
Iceland's there.
Oh, Skark fucks me.
You already picked Skark.
No.
Yeah. That's why I don't have Skark.
There we go. Hit R.
It's Ada. You already said that.
Ada.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
I'm not saying it like that. You can't make me. And What haven't I taken?
You've picked Tyranids, Thousand Suns, Eldar, CSM, and that's it so far, right? Oh, and Admech, sorry.
Okay. Well, I do not assume that there will be a second Admech in my future, so we're probably
I would
safe
have
there.
not imagined so, no.
Might be a good spot to pick sisters, right?
In theory.
He's already picked his Team Iceland player. He can't have Mitch.
Yeah. Who can I trust playing sisters? That's the real question. It's gonna be a lot of dead zone right now, where I'm like scrolling and thinking.
Yeah, that's
all
fine.
right.
It's good radio.
Yeah.
The visual of scrolling through this massive spreadsheet with little dots on it. Yes.
I can literally hear the cogs going in Anthony's brain right now. It's fantastic.
You can listen.
What
to
about just
the
take Dan Bates right there? Just take that Wales guy. I don't know.
He's from Glasshammer. Damn, Anthony can't do
Or
that.
if South Africa has a sisters player, take them. They do not. They have no sisters. Rude.
I'm gonna put some faith in the man. Let's go with that.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Weihan on World Eaters.
Yeah. Oh, doesn't this open up Ash on Sisters in Pool 4?
Yeah, Kiantan on Singapore, Thailand.
That's right.
There you go. That's a good choice, actually. Yeah.
Boom.
Nice.
One more to pick.
Oh, Noah. Noah's good at this. He'll score a bunch for them.
There you go. Noah for Team Mexico. So that gives us a draft of Arna.
Actually, hold on. Let's go with Noah. I think that's fair.
Okay. So that's Noah Badom for Team Mexico with Chaos Knights, Kiantan for Singapore, Thailand with Sisters. That is, who are your pool threes?
Lehan Smith from South Africa playing World Leaders. Hadar playing Admech.
Not doing a surname from Iceland.
Yep. Ennis
Me from Scotland. Pyramids. Woo! I'm drafted.
Good old Liam from Belgium and Skark and Arna.
It's a pretty solid roster.
I think you could do worse.
I would agree. Nathan, have you done yours?
No.
Okay, we're not doing another one on stream.
We're not doing another one live. All right. I'll do it though. I'll do it later today.
Better.
All right. Now, where was this question? All right. Where was I? Here we go. Does WTC have a sick opening ceremony planned? Dan F.
Do we usually have? Do we have one at all?
I don't know.
No.
We don't have a bagpiper this year. We tried to organize that, but
yeah, the captain kind of just like meet,
show up,
and then they go tell us stuff. And then it's like, what thing did the German team notice in the rules pack that the rest of us are now aware of at the event?
Sorry, I'm reading the next question. All right. Goran asks, I don't want to open up again the thing that happened at Tacoma. As someone who has my first competitive 40K year behind me, I ask myself how to handle situations like that when facing them. Even when a round is 3 hours long, there is seldom time to check all the rules from your opponent and vice versa. So how can I have a game where I don't always think about checking or asking the opponent to prove the rules? Just blind trust that looks like it doesn't work, as we all saw. So what's the solution? The solution is, as a judge, that if you ever feel like something shady is happening, call a judge over and tell them that something shady is going on and you want them to watch your game. We had 8 judges on staff at the Open. Somebody can help you out if you think something weird is going on.
I feel like that's not super practical to the reality of the awkwardness that will incite.
Yeah, that's true. Also true. I think there's a very real amount that, like, that is notable because it's an outlier. Like, I don't personally feel like I've had many games that have been particularly difficult situations, either for feeling like I've been cheated or anything in between. It just isn't something that's come up a ton. Like, it's definitely happened, but I've played, 1,000 or more games of competitive Warhammer at this point, which is far too many. and it's a single-digit number of games. People who are experiencing this are getting unlucky with individual people, and it's very important to remember that this is not the norm, and that most people you play at tournaments are just going to be chill people that you're going to play a game with, and that's fine. And just setting that expectation early and having that conversation. Not everybody is going to be the kind of person who is willing to cheat to win at a game of toy soldiers.
Most won't.
On balance, you're going to be fine.
You can also always just, like, if you don't want to call a judge, because I understand like there's like a degree of that is kind of awkward. Anytime you hear something that sounds like very good, you can always just ask your opponent to like show you it, or like look it up in the app if you have all the codex code accesses. Just like both, they'll understand. Oh, that sounds really cool. Can I see that rule real quick? Is, you know, a pretty easy way to ask to see something.
Yep. Also, absolutely true. Yeah, learn every rule. That works too.
You could just be an absolute nerd, yes, and do what Willow says and read every rule and learn it. Paul asks, did you watch Simone Biles today? I did not watch. Yeah. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched clips from it, and I don't understand how humans can do the things that gymnasts like her do. Like, I don't understand any of it. She's like does flips and cartwheels in the sky after jumping off of a thing that has springs in it. I don't know, man.
The only part of the Olympics that really matters was the opening from Gojira anyway, so that shows the depth.
The next question is from Dan F, and I don't feel equipped to ask it because I'm from the wrong generation, which is Sisters of Battle brat?
I got nothing, bro.
Chris asks, what pre-flight rituals are you all undertaking before WTC?
None. Doing the same thing I do every time, and it's usually fine.
Phone, wallet, passport, phone, wallet, passport, phone, wallet, passport. Where the fuck's my passport? Phone, wallet, passport, phone, wallet, passport. Every time I move, pretty much.
Yep.
Same thing I do when I get a taxi.
I'm going to sacrifice a nearby human to whatever gods control transport. That's what I'm going to do, guys.
That's fair.
Dan F asks, which team will win best painted?
France.
France, because they get them all commissioned very powerfully.
Oh. I always saw like Spain has a really good painter. Taroxer paints his army and it's beautiful. Team Canada has some well-painted armies. I guess I just didn't realize. What Dan F asks the next question, which is, what do 30 World Eaters Terminators do?
If I find out, I'll let you know.
They stand places.
Yep. They rapid ingress, probably.
Weirdly fast.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else. They have weird warrior restrictions based on what's in the kit.
They have a rule that makes them better the more of them you kill.
These are all true.
Watch out for that.
McWhirp asks, if Innes is on, ask him about the Penitent Host list that went 5-0 at the event he won. I can't make that detachment work at all.
You should try getting better at melee armies.
It was mostly just fling an Arcoflagellant squad 2 inches away from your opponent's deployment zone and say, I'm going to Blood Surge if you touch them, and then Blood Surging when people shot them, and then giving them a take back and being like, oh, do you mind if I don't do that? And then they didn't do that, and then he shot them to death with Castigators. And that was mostly what I understand the experience was. And then at the end of the game, the Triumph was still in the middle objective scoring primary because he had run out of things to do that could kill the Triumph because the Castigator just shot it all to death. And then I recall at one distinct point that a multi-melta immolator one-shot a Vindicator.
That's sick. Oh, yeah, dude. Let's fucking go.
That's the real way to make things work.
That's how he won his game 5. And he beat 4 Catan on a Tesseract Vault by a point. Yeah, he was shooting a lot of stuff and standing the Triumph on the middle a lot. That's all I got for you, and that's pretty good at winning tournament games most of the time.
Yeah.
The next question is from Dr. Gabe C., PhD in Hoganomics, I guess. I don't know.
Hoganomics, bro. What the fuck?
Hoganomics, sorry. Look, man, I don't got a lot of reading comprehension time in this. Recently, I've been faction spiraling a month out from Nova. Super healthy and effective. Something that's been really driving That list spiraling has been win rates versus people at my elo and higher, which has all 3 of my factions at the bottom 10 factions. Would using that metric be a smart way of going about prepping, or am I misapplying those stats? Sound like they're trying to use. Go for it.
I would not do that. I think very often people make mistakes going into events by trying to play the thing that like counters meta, and then very rapidly not playing that thing and end up playing like a kind of touch and go army that's only really good into like one thing that they thought was going to be everywhere. But the unfortunate reality of real life Warhammer events is that actually doesn't end up being that much everywhere. And then you end up down this horrible spiral of trying to counter the thing that counters the thing that counters the thing off of a really limited data set. And that shit is bad.
It's my favorite thing to do as well, to be fair. But
yeah, and that shit is touchy. It has
it works most of the time if you're really good at it. And if you're not, it's really dodgy. Just play the thing that you want to play, Gabe. Like I know you messaged me about this earlier as well. Like you're not gonna for reference, everybody asks, Gabe's mostly been asking about Chaos Demons and Chaos Knights right now. And I think
just play CK.
Just play CK. Chaos like neither of them are going to beat Blood Angels. Neither of them are going to particularly beat Dark Angels. Just play the one you enjoy better, the one that's going to give you the best chances to people that you are as good as. The odds of you beating somebody who's better than you, like the army isn't going to make that much of a difference.
Especially not with those two options.
Exactly. Unless you catch them on a literal hard counter, which those armies just don't have in that bracket, it's not going to make it. It's not going to make enough of a difference. Play the thing you're comfortable with and the thing you'll enjoy playing. Yeah,
just put the dogs on the table, bro. Like it's not
you're going to have the dice. You're going to be unstoppable.
Yeah. Like I think this goes for most people. Like I think a lot of people in the game right now that like are looking to get better and looking to like go up an elo bracket or two if they have access to it would benefit a ton from playing Gladius Dark Angels. That list is the most like Warhammer is Games Workshop intended army that I've seen in ages. Like it's just like all the phases, 5 rounds of Warhammer.
The most broken stratagem ever. Why does it do everything?
It just does all the stuff. It's really flexible. It'll facilitate you getting better. And then like on top of that, as you get better, you get infinitely more rewarded for it. That detachment like scales really up and down with player skill. It's very good. If you find yourself like as like a common like 3-2, like 4-1-ish player, that army is fucking dope. I would put a little bit more shooting in it though, because that side of things can be very punishing. But aside from
try putting like Vindicators, Lancers, Reapers, whatever your dealer's choice. Put like 2 of them in, and you'll probably have a good time.
Yeah,
the Eradicators are like really difficult to play. If you cut that brick and put in like your dealer's choice, like 3 shooting platforms, you'll probably have a great time.
I mean, even if you cut it in and don't play like the ICC dudes that Lennon's playing, like that unit can be very difficult to leverage, like to the point that it's
fragile.
Yeah, they just die immediately as well, which doesn't help. Like like you could do a lot of things to make that list easier to play, and I think like cutting like that.
Yeah, and it really doesn't make that much difference to like the overall material of you have 15 Death Knights in Azrael fueling you with like literal just like bags of money.
Lots of command points, really good stratagems.
I have redrawn 5 cards of this game, and I'm still flourishing in CP.
Yeah,
you just like this is great.
You get to just do your thing all game. So that's like kind of the idea. I think a lot of the times people waste their time in 40k trying to counter the meta, but like they're trying to do that when they have like time and bandwidth for 4 games a month, and that's just like not enough time to not just be playing the meta thing.
Reasonable.
Yeah. I'll quickly answer this one. No, I've just accidentally worn the same shirt 3 weeks in a row.
That's funny.
It's one of my 40k shirts. So it's just one I put on like after a shower, right? Mm-hmm. It's just or if I'm gonna go out for a walk in the evening, and I don't want to wear like a night chuck on So it's just been 3 times in a row.
These new order board jerseys are great. Whoever made these, good job.
Next week is when Innes gets most of his new shirts during the
that is
swap.
True. I only get shirts
WTC.
during WTC. I have 6 shirts this week or this year to swap, I think, and 3 of them are already, only 2 of them are pre-promised, so should have a few. It's Team Canada. It's a Team Canada 2018 shirt. It's just very faded. I own 4 Team Canada shirts.
Did you say 14 or 4?
4 Team Canada.
Okay.
Shirts.
Oh, I heard 14 as well. I was like, that's quite a few.
All right. The next question is from Sean, and I moved it into the questions thread because I'm a nice person. How long do you think it'll take GW to use points cost for detachments as a balance lever? Seems like a useful tool to rein in a detachment without killing data sheets army-wide.
Oh, that'll never happen. They're not going to do that. If they can't code different priced war gear because it's too difficult for their app developer or whatever, then there's no shot that this ever happens. It's not going to be a thing in 10th. Don't get your hopes up for it. Maybe in 11th. Good luck.
Yeah, that actually is an interesting thing to think about. If you had to pay like 50 or 100 points to like access like some detachments or
You should
whatever,
just
that
make
would be
the
kind of
bad
neat.
detachments give you an extra starting command point.
Dude, they can totally do that, but what are the bad detachments, Ennis? What does that even mean? All the detachments are equally viable choices. Won't someone think of their Crusade players?
No.
Deceptor should get an extra starting CP.
I agree, but
And Deceptors should let you pay a CP to reroll your opponent's dice.
that would be sick. Where's that stratagem? That'd be awesome. Fuck your charge. No.
I'm still waiting for the Harlequin reverse
Hex dice.
Yeah, where you get to place your dice in place of your opponent's dice instead.
Yeah.
That is going to be wild, and I hope
Here's
they
a
do.
one that fails.
Your opponent gets ready to roll that deep strike charge, and you're like, "No, this is a 2. You don't get to do that."
Actually, you don't. Oh,
Man,
God,
that
we're gonna have
12-inch
Beam playing Juggernaut Cav and Hex dice. Anthony is perfectly designing 7th edition again. It's great. Just all the worst stuff.
If we get both of those things, I would go play Harlequin so fast.
Isaac asks, Innes, would you make any changes to your Dark Angels list for GW terrain?
That list would benefit a lot.
No,
more
platforms. I mean, I played that list on like no terrain. It was awful. It was fine anyway. It just did not matter. You're just like getting shot relentlessly, and it's like this just means nothing. I'm still scoring all my points.
Yeah, you score a lot.
It would be fine.
You score a lot anyway, but on GW terrain, you would benefit a lot from some of those vehicle platforms that could just move over the I can't believe it's not a ruin wall.
Yeah, that's definitely true, but I also don't feel like you like need it. Like, yeah, it'd be good, but whatever, right? Like, it'd be fine.
I don't know. Activating a Reaper is an experience.
It's a religious experience, truly. Yes, it is.
Be gone, trash.
Yeah, I really enjoyed sticking Storm of Fire on the 30-shot repulsor I was running. Like, that's good fun.
Yeah,
nice.
Just remove it.
Just do you want to pick that up, or are you gonna make me roll?
You really can't do that with the repulsor. None of that shit's twin linked, and all of the strength is really bad.
That's fair.
Yep.
All right, Logan's question is, with GW financials being released, how do we help support this small business in their time of need?
Well, we just keep buying their products as they raise costs well above the rate of the artificial inflation. Capitalism.
I love that. That's a good one. Ben Jurek asks, what are your must-visit food or drink places in Mechlin?
There's an ice cream place that's right next to Bar Popular that fucking rocks. I don't think it's open usually when the event is over, but you can hit it like in the midday or in the event, like, like before the event, question mark.
There's a nice place that's on like the gap between like right by where the big church is as well. Not the one in the town center, but the other one. The other end of the square. There's another one there as well. It's pretty good. I took Ridwan I took Scary for ice cream there once.
Yeah, there's a bunch of most of the food in Mechlin is quite good. You'd really struggle to eat badly there.
I manage anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
The challenge has always been that for me is that the event runs. Man, I'm not getting fucking tacos in Belgium. Get out of here with that shit.
It's not
tacos. It's so much worse.
Damn it.
It's
just barely food, but it was great at 11 p.m. when it was the only thing that was open.
That's the
fair.
only
That's
qualifier.
Reasonable. And then the last question from Discord is from Eric, which is, which Thousand Sons player did Innes pick for his WTC fantasy draft?
I don't think I did.
You picked no Thousand Sons player?
Yeah,
what are you fucking doing? What?
What is David Gaylord playing?
No, I picked David Gaylord. Yeah, I picked David. Okay. Come on, what are we doing? Come on, have some faith in me.
I was watching Innes, the brain wheels turning here today. It's fine.
Innes go so fast. I try not to watch those. You might get a blind or get blinded. The poor hamster in Innes's head has got fucking heat exhaustion.
Alex Taus asks, Anthony, which are some of the dark horse teams that you are prepping for after leaving your pod 3-0?
So the weird thing about that is that we are like, as a general rule of thumb, we over prep the fuck out of our pod compared to what I assume most other tier 1 nations do. On top of landing, a thing we get shit for from other tier 1 nations is that we always get a soft pod. But I think that's unfair to say before the event starts and you don't really know. But so we usually come out of our pod with a lot of points. So we don't really assume that a dark horse nation is going to like smoke check their pod and play us in 4. But after that point, I could definitely see like Scotland, New Zealand, Belgium probably swinging up higher than expected. I would expect big things out of like Singapore, Thailand as well, if they weren't stuck in a pod that otherwise is quite difficult, if I remember right. Like, isn't their pod quite rough?
Singapore, Thailand are in the pod with
Isn't it like Ireland,
Poland, aren't
England?
they? Oh no, yeah, it's the Ireland, England.
Oh
No,
no,
that's the
no, no,
that's
no.
the South Africa pod.
Yeah,
It's the Canada Poland pod, isn't it?
yeah. So like, normally
Better
I'd
luck
be like,
next year.
yeah, I'd be like, that team is going to be scary. But now it's like, oh, that's Poland. That's a little fucking rough. So yeah.
And then the last question of the night, because I don't see anything currently in the chat, is from iEar, which is Nathan. Innes really liked reading the High Five Club doc last week. Can he do it again? Innes, do you want me to read it?
Of course I do.
Okay, I will read it. All right, that is the last of the questions. So we are clear to go into wrap up if you want, Innes.
Thank you so much. No. Wrap up is you.
Oh
do
yeah,
the
it's me
thing,
first. That's right. I haven't been on
you
as
first. I don't
in a
wrap
couple
up
weeks.
until
Sure.
Try
All
to
right,
kill me.
so everybody, if you join the $15 a month tier, also known as a crisp high five, you get personalized benefits at in-person events, which people at WTC can collect from a wide variety of people. So make sure you write down all the benefits that you get, because there's like a bunch of them from each of the different hosts for the most part.
There's like 3, but sure.
Yeah. I'll probably write one in this weekend. I don't know what it will be, but we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll have a limited number of bottles of a surprise
You can't
liquor
fly
from
with Dragon
Chicago.
Soup, so
It's not Dragon Soup. It's going to be an alcohol from Chicago that nobody likes, and that's okay. But the other thing that you get is you get your name read out on right now at the end of the show. And you pretty much put whatever the heck you want basically in this thing. And so far, nobody has done anything so ridiculous that I've needed to tell them that I cannot, in fact, read this on the air. So
I have done that a few times.
all right. I mean, some other people edit it. It is Malort. It's only going to be like 6 bottles, Willow. Don't get excited. All right. For the Cult of the High Five, thank you to all the following people for giving us an awesome amount of money every month and helping support the things that we do. We appreciate all of you. A special thank to Christopher, Dan, Finnis, Ayer, Irvine. Thank you, Willow Weeks. Thank you, Dan F. Thank you, Luke, Dan F. McCarthy. Thank you, David Clark. Thank you, Ayer Skibbity Pop, Dan Ayer Dab. Thank you, James H. Thank you, Colton, Dan F. Miller. Thank you, Fungus. Thank you, John. 2 high fives at the same time, comma man, V8 gang. Thank you, Cam F. Dan Morton, hog emoji. Thank you, Innes, Dan F. Wilson. Thank you,
This is the worst.
Archon Hall. Good luck at the WTC, Anthony! Exclamation point. Thank you, Josiah Gell. Yeah. Thank you, Faresh. Thank you, Isaac. Beat Ben Jurek with the list I stole from him because I went second and he rolled bad Tarada.
Hell yeah, dude.
That probably does mirror match. Sure is just who goes second. No skill involved.
Thank you to David. He's not a high five member, but we should thank him anyways. And the rules don't say I can't put his name in. Gaylord. Thank you, Thomas. We should really consider putting a maximum length on these things someday, period. It's getting a bit ridiculous, period. We're slowly descending into madness. Verquasion. And then it says And then there's a comment on it that says, "Don't touch this, I see you." Also from Thomas Verkoijen. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, bud. You're just going to have to tell me in person at some point. And that's it. That is the list of people. So if you, too, would like to have your name read, just join that tier and you can add it to the spreadsheet that's in the exclusive Discord channel for Cult of the High Five members. So yeah, thank you, all of you. This is one of the more fun parts of the episode for me. It's really amusing. It slowly breaks my brain as you guys add more and more bullshit to it, but maybe it'll get me to practice voices or some such bullshit in the future. I don't know.
It's the worst. It truly is my least favorite part. I love
I
it.
fucking love it.
Okay, I think that is going to do it for us for this week and also for next week. So if you are coming back looking for a show next week, there won't be one. We will not be here at 11 p.m. on Tuesday. That is UK time. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for our post WTC celebration commiseration. Or if England won, we'll just never be back because I refuse to acknowledge that on the internet. We'll just stop there. There will be no more stat check. Thankfully, we'll see you. We'll see you a week on. We'll see you a week on Tuesday because that's literally impossible.
No chance.
Yeah, I got not much else. Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us for episode 102, 1 week out from WTC. We are all super hyped to be there. If you're at the event, come and say hi. If you're at a tournament this weekend in the interim before WTC, very best of luck. We hope you absolutely kick it in the nards and smash it. Have a great time, everybody, and we'll see you.
Bye.
Nathan.